Hello, I am Tim, your Cinema Contrarian. I want to welcome you to another episode of my Star Wars vlog. And today we will be discussing what was supposed to happen in episodes 7 to 9. Now, I want to start this by saying I have no idea what was supposed to happen in episodes 7 to 9. I have never read Lucas's treatment of it. However, I think he's given us enough to go on that we could infer what maybe was going to happen. So let's get started. So I remember, I think it was in 1978, my mom read an article or saw an interview with George Lucas wherein he said that he wanted to make 9 films and that Star Wars was the beginning of the middle 3 of those films. So I knew early on that eventually we would get 9 films, and I've had 40 years to think about what those 9 films would be about. And I remember I also read an interview around the same time where he talked about that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader were having a lightsaber duel on the edge of a volcano, and that Darth Vader fell in and the Emperor came to rescue him. And to my mind, that was the thing that kind of pushed him over. That whatever Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader's disagreement had been about, that the fact that Obi-Wan had abandoned him in the lava, thinking him dead, and that the Emperor had been the one to show up and rescue him, is what had made him join the Emperor's side, because he'd been rejected by Obi-Wan Kenobi, rescued by the Emperor. And my assumption was that that was when he turned to evil and started hunting down and killing the Jedis. This is, I guess you could say, one of the reasons why I am not the biggest fan of Revenge of the Sith, because Darth Vader never fell into a volcano in Revenge of the Sith, as Lucas described back in the late 70s. And also, too, although the Emperor does arrive and take care of Vader, it didn't seem like a rescue. It seemed more because there was no urgency when he arrived. You know, he said, "Oh, I think young Vader needs our assistance." You know, it's just like anyway. So let's talk about what I thought that these 9 movies would be about. Now, granted, I didn't think about it at all after episode 4, because episode 4 we had so little information to go on. I had no idea what was going to happen next. So by the time we get to Empire, I'll tell you a very interesting thing that happened. So Empire came out in 1980, and later that summer I was at camp, and one day there was an activity you could sign up for called Star Wars Discussion Group, and of course I was all over Star Wars Discussion Group. And so we go to Star Wars Discussion Group, and with this really, really intelligent adult leading it. Of course, a lot of the young boys wanted to talk about their favorite bits of the space battle or whatever, but the adult kept us on track, and he made some rather prescient predictions, which, depending on whether you believe the story or not, he knew things about Return of the Jedi before Lucas knew things about Return of the Jedi, and I'll explain what I mean right now. So he told us, he asked us, do you remember when Yoda said to Ben Kenobi, as Luke flies away, Ben Kenobi says, "That boy's our last hope." And then Yoda says, "No, there's another." And this adult said to us, "So who do you think the other is?" And, none of us knew, like Han Solo, And he said, no, I'll tell you what I think. He said, I think the other is Princess Leia. And I think Princess Leia is the twin sister of Luke Skywalker. And we were all like, really? He's like, I don't know, but that's my guess. Well, he was right. Funny, right? And supposedly Lucas didn't think of this idea until they were already filming Return of the Jedi. Go figure. Anyway, so after Return of the Jedi came out, and then I had, a good 15 years to think about, okay, so what's 1 through 3 and what's 6 through 9 going to be about? And I always figured 1 through 3 was Vader's turn from the light side to the dark side. Got that one. And I always thought that the Clone Wars was about the creation of the Stormtrooper army, because for some reason I assumed the Stormtroopers were clones. This was before reading the Timothy Zahn trilogy, and I don't know where he came out on that. But I think he had a similar take on it. I remember the talk about the cloning tubes or something in that novel series. And then after the prequels came out, it was really interesting because the original trilogy, 4 through 6, is clearly the story of Luke Skywalker. You know, that he discovers that he's the son of a Jedi, that he has Force powers, and then he turns his father from the dark side to the light. And that's great. Then after you watch the prequels, you realize that, oh wow, so the 6th film series is about the rise, fall, and rise of Darth Vader. That's the arc of the 6th film series from 1 to 6. And that really got me thinking. So Lucas has always said this is a 9-film cycle. So what's the story of the 9 films? And the best I could guess was the story of the 9 films was the rise and fall of the Emperor. So my belief has always been that the Emperor did not die at the end of episode 6. And why would he? He just fell down a hole. I mean, used the Force to, go out a side vent or something, go find a shuttle and get out of Dodge before that place blows up. I mean, he's very strong with the Force. There's no reason why falling down a hole would cause him to die. Now, you could say the bit about the lightning or whatever. He could have used the lightning to create a hole in the wall for him to escape through. We never saw a body. It was never confirmed that the Emperor was dead. So my thought was always that the Emperor lived at the end of Return of the Jedi, and that the last 3 films would be about finally getting him to surrender or submit, go to prison, or actually watch him die, lightsaber in hand. Something to confirm that he is in fact dead. Because again, I think it's very telling that we never see the body in Return of the Jedi, and I think Lucas was setting it up that this guy's not dead, And I think the galaxy had a chance to celebrate because it seems like the rebels had gained the upper hand in the Empire at that point. But I don't think he was defeated. I think he would have, gone back to, or gone to try and rebuild his position. The only thing I can say, if I was going to play devil's advocate against my own position, is that Lucas had asked Mark Hamill way back, I think when they were working on Return of the Jedi, hey, would you come back in 30 years and reprise your role? That's the only thing that gives me pause is, would it really take them 30 years to finally defeat the Emperor? Like, to me, it would make more sense if it would be 5 to 7 years later, not 30 years later. So this is the area in which that I feel like I could be wrong. But the way that I don't feel like I'm wrong is because of the arcs. Again, Luke's story is a 3-film arc in the middle. Vader's story is a 6-film arc from the beginning through the middle, but to me, the 9-movie arc is the Emperor's arc. From, Senator, Emperor of the Galaxy, to defeated. That's my thought. Your mileage may vary, but I thank you for watching, and please comment below and let me know what you think of this theory. Anyway, hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye.